In this tutorial, we will be going over how to create custom fields using PHP. PHP is essential for this API call because we are trying to protect sensitive information from being displayed to the average user, like the client's ID and client secret. By the end of this video, you will be able to create custom fields using APIs and incorporate them for dynamic user storage. Let's take a look at the various codes that this plugin consists of. Open here are 3 PHP files along with a single HTML file and a JavaScript file. The entire source code can be found in the description, so you may go take a look at it while I go through its content. The HTML and JavaScript file are just for the front end and declaration purposes. The real functionality of the plugin comes in from the PHP files. Just like all other basic plugins, the admin token PHP file is a standard file that allows you to obtain the admin's token just from the client's ID and client secret. These two variables are only accessible from the admin's portal and not by ordinary users. However, with the implementation of PHP, users can access admin authorized APIs through the help of this file. Besides this function, there are other functions declared in the call_api.php file. For example, the basic structure of calling an API is declared as the very first function, as well as a few supporting functions like getting the marketplace's base URL, package ID, and custom fields prefix. For the purpose of this video and plugin, consider these two files as header files that declare functions that will be called in the main custom field PHP file. Take a look at the custom field PHP file. We can see that many of the supporting functions are called and stored into various variables. It shouldn't be too difficult to connect the dots, so we're just going to go through the main functionality of this API call. For the purpose of this demonstration, I will declare custom fields on the developer's dashboard itself rather than using the create custom field API. Although they perform the same function, you may choose to implement one or the other based on what your intention is with the plugin. Creating custom fields from the package itself only allows for a single memory location. Therefore, multiple calls to the same API code will overwrite each other. To call the create custom field API rather than retrieve the custom field code using this method, just simply replace these lines with the actual custom field API itself. Going to your developer's dashboard, go to the package in which you will upload the plugin in and create custom fields there. If you're familiar with Arcadis custom field APIs, you'll notice that the parameters are exactly the same. You have a name, field type, and reference table. I'm just going to declare two custom fields, test value and test hash value, under implementations, which is the same thing as marketplace. Now going back to the code, these lines are basically retrieving the custom fields code, retrieving the input from the user, hashing it using an SHA-256 with salting, and storing it into the custom field. There are a few places in which you have to replace values according to your custom fields. In these two places, replace custom field 1 and 2 with their corresponding field names, as well as in your custom field JavaScript file. I have already installed the plugin with the correct variables. Heading over to the specific plugin, all I have to do is put in test values and click save. The results will be displayed onto the page as well as the success message. Notice that if you keep the fields blank, it will alert you to fill in the fields. Going over to Postman, because the custom fields were created for the marketplace, you can check to see if the variables were declared and stored properly under the Get Marketplace Information API. Calling this API and scrolling down, we can see that the values were indeed stored properly. Please note that if I were to resend in data, it will override the previously declared data. In Postman, you can see that the old values are gone and that the new values are in place. Now you know the answers of custom fields and why PHP is essential to the security of Arcadis APIs. In the next tutorial, I will go more into detail about the entirety of custom fields, specifically how they can be implemented, explored, and displayed on any interface.